Alright, so this video we're gonna make a packet sniffer, network packet sniffer.
Yeah.
So the key features are it captures live network traffic and analyzes it. So it captures live traffic, live packets, so HTTP, DNS, TCP, etc. So it extracts useful info into IPs, MAC addresses, payload data, and it filters traffic by protocols or source. So Scapy is what we're going to import first. It's a very powerful packet manipulation tool. It can capture packets in real time and analyze each packet. So that's something we really want. And then argparse is used for parsing arguments. I mean, that's kind of self-explanatory. So we're gonna install that real quick. If you have any questions, by the way, you can ask them. I'll explain. So we're gonna do from scapy.all. Oops, I forgot to set the language to Python. From scapy.all import from scapy.layer .http import http request. We don't need response here. Import arg I'm responding to someone on Discord right now. Okay. So here's how we start. So we make our function. Let me make this cleaner. Sniff underscore. How do I space that? Packets. Interface, comma, filter underscore protocol equals no. Right. So we're gonna print sniffing on interface. Process packet. I'll go over what everything here means at the end, but you can follow along if you want to code this. I'll explain every line. If packet dot has layer okay. We also want protocol if packet has layer HTTP request. Method code. Okay. Yeah, it basically gives everything to you. What we want to do next is, so this extracts HTTP data, by the way, if there's any available. So we're going to extract the raw payload next. So if packet.hasLayer, I can't spell, raw, I think has capital. Payload equals payload, raw load. 100. So the first 100 bytes is what we want. Post snippet, payload. So now we want to start sniffing. So we're going to do sniff. Face interface, parent process packet, filter protocol. Store equals false. We do not want to store the packets to reduce memory usage. Right, so let's make the main block. So if underscore underscore name is main. Okay. We're just going to add filter. I'm going to try sniff underscore packets audience interface, audience filter, accept permission error, and accept exception is E, accept keyboard interrupt, packet sniffing stop play machine. Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to explain the code. So Scapy.all is the main Scapy library for packet manipulation. Scapy.layers.http extracts HTTP specific data, so like URLs. Argparse handles command line arguments. So like interface and then whatever interface. Okay, so the sniff packets function. Right here. The purpose is to start packet capture on a network interface. So the arguments are interface, and so like WLAN 0 or ETH 0, and filter protocol is like optional, so like TCP or HTTP. That's just the protocol. That's optional though. You don't need to tell it what protocol you want to use. You don't have to filter that manually. So the packet processing function, right here. So what this does is it calls for each captured packet and it extracts key details like IPs, protocols, and HTTP data. So the this part right here, the IP layer check, what this does is has layer IP right there. What that does is it checks if the packet has an IP layer. Source IP and destination IP extracts the sender and receiver IPs. Protocol numeric ID, so like 6 for TCP. The HTTP request extraction. If packet has layer, this decodes HTTP method, host, and path available. So this is for get or post. This is for domain and the URL path. This just prints it out. Right, payload inspection. So raw basically contains unprocessed data, so like usernames and passwords if you can access them. So if you're on a public network, this is usable. Please don't use this in a bad way only use this for ethical purposes in a controlled environment, such as testing on your own network, or if someone tells you to test on their network, but you should have written permission for that so they can't get you in trouble later. But only use this for ethical purposes. This is only for educational purposes. There's no reason for you to use this for any other reason. You should not use this in the wrong way. It is a crime in pretty much every country, and it's hard to not get caught at this point. Like, right. So, the colon 100 makes it the first 100 bytes so that it's easier to read. Start sniffing right here. Sniff is the SCAPI's packet capture function. So it's how you start capturing packets. And then store equals false right here. Prevents storing packages. It saves some memory. We don't want it to store those packets. I mean, that would be kind of annoying. Right. The command line argument handling. So argparse parses command line inputs. -I is the required interface, so ETH0 or WLAN0, or whatever you have. NPOS3 if you're on a virtual machine, is what you'll have usually. And then -F is for the optional filter, so like TCP port 80. Error handling. So permission error, basically, that makes it so that you can only run this as sudo, and if you don't, it'll tell you that you need to run it with sudo, because, I mean, it would be kind of a pain if it didn't tell you that, and you needed to figure that out yourself, because you need sudo permissions. If you're running this on Linux, I believe you need admin permissions on command prompt if you're running this on Windows, because it is directly sniffing those packets, and you need administrator privileges to read those. Exception is E. An error has occurred. Let's actually switch the position of these two. So keyboard interrupt is, I mean, if you exit with Control C, it's the keyboard interrupt, and then exception is E. It will accept any other errors and tell you an error has occurred, and then it'll tell you the error. Right. So SCAPI sniff function basically captures packets in real time and uses BPF filters. So like example would be TCP port 80, and what that does is it reduces noise. You don't want too much, data, because you want to be able to read it, if you know what I mean. Like, you don't want too much. Right. So packet layers. So packets are like onions. Layers. Layers are like Ethernet, IP, TCP, HTTP. Has layer checks for specific protocols. And if you're wondering why you need to run this as sudo, if you want raw packet capture, it requires root privileges on Linux and Unix systems. Another ethical note, sniffing networks without permission is illegal. You cannot use this, even for educational purposes, on a network that is not controlled by you. You should only do this in a controlled environment, because you will get caught doing this, and it is illegal to even if you're just sniffing, it is illegal. Even if you don't intend to do anything with that, it is still illegal. Do not use this for anything other than ethical purposes on your own networks. Right. So some upgrades that we could do to this is save to PCAP files, so we can log the packets for later analysis through like Wireshark and stuff. We can also use this for detecting attacks. So it'll flag a port scan. So we made the port scanner in our previous video right here. And you can make packet sniffers. This is what I meant. You can make a packet sniffer that'll detect that. We can also make a GUI dashboard with like tkinter or something to show live traffic. But that's all for our packet sniffer. Maybe we can improve on this later. Just let me know in the comments what you would like to see. If you have any features, please let me know. That would be very helpful. I'll leave my Discord link in chat or in the description um, for anyone who wants to join the Discord. It's a cybersecurity Discord server. You can learn. Just let me know what y'all think. Thank y'all for watching. I'll see y'all in the next video.